Hi, this is Jim Stephenson again. I'm answering emails, or one email that has questions about my upcoming bass trombone concerto with the Chicago Symphony, Riccardo Muti conducting and Charlie Vernon as the soloist. And I was sent a list of questions, and this is question number 4 to answer, which is, what special qualities and limitations of the instrument did you need to consider when writing a concerto for the bass trombone? An interesting question because you have the bass trombone and then you have Charlie Vernon playing the bass trombone. So the things you need to consider might be slightly different because Charlie, obviously being the bass trombonist of the Chicago Symphony, has a degree of skill that has gotten him to that position. And so a lot of these qualities and limitations I did consider, but a lot of them got refined and actually augmented through my collaboration with Charlie. Some obvious things that I would have considered were, the low register. Of course, everybody thinks of the bass trombone as, having that capability, but I never wanted to use that as a gimmick or a trick, like, hey, I can do that. I would only do that if it served the music. Charlie does play some upper register notes, and when I say upper, I mean upper, like as high as I used to be able to play on trumpet. He does on bass trombone. And some things he said, hey Jim, do you mind if I take that up an octave? And so there are things that not every bass trombonist would probably do that Charlie's going to do, but they're actually originally written down an octave. So there's that, those characteristics. One has to think about how much a bass trombonist can breathe. And even though I thought about that, Charlie still did come back to me with like, hey, I'm human. I'm going to need to breathe a little bit more than you've allowed me to in these spots. So when he comes back to me and says those things, that actually allows me to change the music to accommodate him, but it also influences other things that I've written, and I can adapt and change and move things around. And so not only do you make him more comfortable, but the piece takes a shape and has certain sections that wouldn't have existed without that collaborative work with Charlie. So I'm always glad when any soloist asks me for some changes, because then the music can go somewhere where I didn't expect it to. And there are some other obvious things like some glissandos, but this question's about qualities and limitations, so that doesn't really fit that bill. The other thing I wanted to do as much as possible is whenever Charlie is playing in a certain range, almost nobody else in the orchestra is ever in that exact range, because I wanted to make sure that no matter where he was, that he would be the only voice in that particular tessitura to give him more a chance of being heard. Now, I haven't heard it with the orchestra yet, so there might still be some adaptations that need to happen in that regard, but that was something I considered.